Welcome, have a nice day. Today is Monday, 29th of May 2023. The General Assembly in its resolution 57 129 designated 29 May as the International Day of United Nations Peacekeepers. This is the date when in 1948 the first United Nations peacekeeping mission named the United Nations Trust Supervision Organization or UNTSO began operations in Palestine. On this day, we pay tribute to the professionalism, dedication, and courage of all the men and women serving in United Nations peacekeeping operations and honor the memory of those who have lost their lives in the cause of peace. Death anniversary on 29th of May in Indian history of Lokram Nayanram Sharma, 1890 up to 29 May 1933, an Indian freedom fighter, journalist, and organizer. Remember the name of Lokram Nayanram Sharma. So, starting the newspaper, let's read the newspaper. The Hindu states that recap Tayyip Erdogan winners historic Turkey runoff vote. Based on provisional results, it has been determined that Recep Tayyip Erdogan has been elected President. Supreme Election Council Chairman Ahmet Yener was quoted as saying by the Anadolu state news agency. The head of Turkey's election commission on May 28 declared President Recep Tayyip Erdogan the winner of the historic runoff vote that will extend his 20-year rule until 2028. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan gestures as he addresses his supporters following an early exit poll results for the second round of presidential election in Istanbul on May 28, 2023. The Hindu newspaper also states that Delhi High Court steps in for patients of rare disease, sets up a panel to implement center's policy. The National Rare Diseases Committee will look into the cases of patients enrolled with the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Delhi's, and the manner in which their treatment can begin. The Delhi High Court has set up a 5-member panel to implement the center's rare disease policy in an efficient manner and ensure that its benefits reaches patients. The Hindu newspaper also states that undefeated Erdogan extended 2 decades rule in Turkey runoff once again. Streets erupted in car honking, jubilation, and tributes poured in from across the world as Turkey's most important leader in modern history led a sea of supporters in a celebratory song outside his presidential palace in Ankara. Turkish President Tayyip Erdogan appealed for the national unity Monday after winning a historic runoff election that extended 2 decades of his transformative but divisive rule until 2028. Going towards the Indian Express newspaper states that Prime Minister's symbol of house trust deeply satisfied the inaugurated President Draupadi Murmu. Among the opposition parties that stayed away from the ceremony were the Congress, Trinamool, Congress, Aam Aadmi Party, DMK, and the left parties. Stung that the Prime Minister was the symbol of Parliament's trust, President of India Draupadi Murmu Sunday expressed deep satisfaction over the inauguration of the new Parliament building by Prime Minister Modi even as 21. President Draupadi Murmu's message was read out by RS Deputy Chairman Hari Vansh. Indian Express also states that a forgotten tribe and its long walk to Karnataka. According to the 2011 census, their population in Bengaluru was 11,892. Today, the Haki-Piki communities reside in the districts of Hassan Ballari, Davangere, Shivamoga, Tumakuru, Bengaluru, Mandya, Chikkabalapur, and Ramangara in Karnataka. During his recent campaign for the Karnataka elections, Prime Minister Modi will interacting with the Hakipiki tribal community during his visits to Shivamoga and Nathavara made a statement that unexpectedly led one to PM Modi interacting with the members of Hakipaki tribal community. Indian Express also states that in 3 months ahead of elections, previous Karnataka government spent rupees 44 crore on its RTI. RTI activist Krishna Prasad questioned the former government's decision to spend public money targeting the opposition. Former Bharatiya Janata Party government in Karnataka spent a staggering of rupees 44.42 crore on advertisement in print and electronic media in the 3 months leading up to the recent assembly polls. Going towards the Hindustan Times newspaper states that 14 IPEF nations agreed to strengthen supply chains cut reliance on China. In a clear bid to reduce their reliance on China and meet future supply chain crisis, 14 participant countries in the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework (IPEF), including the United States and India, has struck a deal on supply chain resilience and diversification through the information sharing and coordinated crisis response. Prime Minister Modi, United States President Joe Biden, and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida at the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for a Prosperity (IPEF) event in Tokyo. Hindustan Times also states that Prime Minister Modi felicitates 11 workers who built new parliament building gifted shawls. PM Modi on Sunday felicitated 11 workers who were involved in the construction and development of the new parliament building, gifted them traditional shawls and mementos hours after the inauguration of new complex on Sunday. PM Modi felicitates workers in New Delhi on Sunday. Hindustan Times also states that incumbent Erdogan seals victory in history Turkey presidential election runoff. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan sealed an election victory that appeared unlikely just weeks ago, raising the prospect of more friction with the Western government and international investors. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan casts his ballot at a polling station during the second round of the presidential election in Istanbul, Sunday, May 28. Hindustan Times also states that Delhi's PWD's 10-year plan for the 1,400-kilometer road network awaits cabinet approval. The Public Works Department's PWD has finalized and sent for the approval of its 21,500 crore 10-year action plan that envisages dividing its 1,400-kilometer road network into the section of streamlining repair, sanitation and maintenance and beautification works of the capital's roads. All roads that are over 60 feet wide come under PWD, putting the most arterial stretches across the city under the agency ambit. According to the officials, Delhi has a 18,460.37 kilometer road network, of which 1,400 kilometer fall under PWD and see 70% of Delhi's traffic. Going towards the economy of the country, Cabinet Secretary led panel to interview 5 candidates for Reserve Bank of India Deputy Governor's post on June 1st. The selected name from the interview held by Cabinet Secretary led panel will be sent to the appointment committee of the Cabinet for final approval. The Reserve Bank of India seal on gate outside the Reserve Bank of India headquarters in Mumbai. CBIC issues SOPs for scrutiny of GST returns for the financial year 20 onwards DGARM to identify cases. As per the SOP, the selection of returns for scrutiny will be done by the DGARM based on the various risk parameters identified by them. United States review of China tariffs won't depend on a trade breakthrough, Deputy USTR. United States is taking an analytical approach to its review of whether to keep tariffs on Chinese goods in place and will not base outcomes on any breakthrough in United States-China trade relations. Deputy United States Trade Representative Sarah Binachi told returners. Biden administration will continue dialogue with China at various levels as Indo-Pacific Economic Framework talks wrapped up. United States and Chinese flags are seen in the illustration taken January 30, 2023. Going towards the world news, including the most important once again, Turkey's Erdogan rates have fallen, inflation will also fall. Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan wins another term as president, extends his rule into third decade. Turkey's Tayyip Erdogan claims victory in the presidential election. Russia launched a largest drone attack on Ukrainian capital before KVJ first killed. One killed. China's first domestically built passenger plane successfully makes its maiden commercial flight. Joe Biden GOP reached tentative deal to raise the diabetic ceiling, avoid calamitous United States default. Going towards the science and technology, Indian Space Research Organization begins to count down for launch of navigation satellite to maintain a continuity of India's own Satnav. It is for the first time that an indigenously developed rubidium atomic clock would be used in May 29's launch, the ISRO said. Scientists at the Indian Space Research Organization on May 28 at 7:12 a.m. commenced the 27.5-hour countdown for the launch of a navigation satellite on board GSLV rocket in Sriharikota on May 29. Scientists at the Indian Space Research Organization on May 28 at 7:12 a.m. commenced the 27.5-hour countdown for the launch of navigation satellite on board GSLV rocket in the Sriharikota on May 29. Meet the scientists sort of spending a year on Mars. Dr. Suni Bell, led for NASA Behavioral Health and Performance Laboratory, works through a simulated Mars exterior portion of CHAPE's Mars Dune Alpha at Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas on April 11, 2023. Living on the Mars is not something Kelly Heston ever dreamed of as child, yet she is about to dedicate an entire year of her life to the red planet. We are just going to pretend we are there, sums up the 52-year-old Canadian. From the end of June, she will be one of the 4 volunteers to spend the 12 months in the Chapia Martian habitat. For NASA, these long-term experiments make it possible to evaluate the behavior of crew in an isolated and confined environment ahead of a real mission in future. Here's an image. Why is climbing Mount Everest so dangerous? The recent death of Australian man Johnson Kenson after reaching the summit of Mount Everest highlights how dangerous mountain climbing can be. 2023 will end as one of the deadliest on record, with 11 deaths recorded for the season to May 23 and further 2 climbers still missing. Mount Everest is the world's highest peak, and the other peaks of the Himalayan range are seen through an aircraft window during a mountain flight from Kathmandu, Nepal, January 15, 2020. At last, there's a famous quotation said by famous President Abdul Kalam Ghulam Muhyiddin Ahmad bin Khairuddin Al-Hassani Azad, whose birth anniversary is 11 November 1888 up to 22nd February 1958, was an Indian independence activist, Islamic theologian, writer, and a senior leader of the Indian National Congress. Following India's independence, he became the first Minister of Education in the Indian government. He is commonly remembered as the Maulana Azad. The word Maulana is an honorific meaning of master, and he had adopted Azad Free as his pen name. His contribution to establishing the Education Foundation in India is recognized by celebrating his birth Day as a National Education Day across the India. He says a famous quotation, education imparted by heart can bring revolution in the society. Okay, thank you.